Hey everyone, welcome to episode 74 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. Welcome back, I'm Ben, and once again I'm joined by Blood Tithe Ben.
Hello.
How you doing, BT?
Yeah, really good. It's way more comfortable now. Temperature's dropped, which means filming isn't like a nightmare. Remember when we did the last one, we had like 3 power outages during the stream.
Oh man, it was awful. It was so hot. Like, it was just insane, and my house could not cope with it. And we just, was it like two to 3 power cuts? That's been quite entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this one's going to be way more chilled. We're not doing a Patreon live feed here because honestly, I was a bit too disorganized this week. It's gone straight from the office to podcasting today. So a bit of a quick turnaround, a bit too quick of a turnaround to do a Patreon stream. But yeah, man, it's back to kind of human temperature. I've even got jeans on, which is very exciting. But yeah, I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since we've recorded. We've actually been to a tournament. Games Workshop put out some Blood Bowl news. There's some Kickstarters to talk about, and some pretty significant rumours as well, which is going to be quite fun. I mean,
yeah, honestly, quite a lot happened in like that 2-week time frame. It feels. Yeah, I was thinking it feels like 3 or 4 weeks since we recorded.
well, you just
it's
saying
kind of been
that.
a bit of a drought, and then
The world is kind of, I don't know. It really feels like things are reopening a bit. I mean, I know you went from indoors to I'm going to stay indoors to, oh my god, I don't need to be out indoors, and then just booked everything up and burnt yourself out. Like, whereabouts are you on the cycle now? Have you recovered?
I think I'm finding my ground. It's I'm still keen to play things, but yeah, there was a bit of like just doing too much stuff all at once. So I'm trying to like peter stuff out. There was a D&D I was doing that I've kind of just said like put this on hold for a little bit because it's like 2 nights a week on top of doing other things.
Yeah.
It's just coming a bit too much.
I feel like the sweet spot is like twice a week to do something hobbyish or see people.
Yeah.
Any more than that, I don't know, just need the chill time. And
yeah, one of the weekend days should be free, I think. Yeah, always if both weekends are booked up with doing something, I think that's when it gets really draining.
Yeah,
you've got like a full week of work and then no days to just like sleep in and recuperate.
Yep, gotta have the rest days. Now I'm quite lucky because my work schedule is like I'll go and work somewhere at a weekend and support. It means I get days off in the week, which is cool, which means that when Tiff's at work I can just film a bunch of stuff, which is that's kind of my rest time, and I love it. It's like it's a good way to rest and recuperate, but I always make sure that Tiff and I have at least one day off a week where we can catch up. So we've been absolutely hammering through wedding stuff, which has been awesome. Like the venue cancelled, well, double booked, I think triple booked actually. It was a bit of a disaster. We've now found a second venue. We've had to buy marquees. I've become like a bit of an LED light and lantern guru. Like, got it all out, measured out. Like, I've got like 57 meters of lantern LED outdoor lighting coming, and at my shed at the moment, right? Because the printer's dead at the moment, which is very sad. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we were like, right, we need plates. Like, do we want to go? We don't want to go down the disposable plate market. I'm like, that seems a bit, I don't know. Don't really want to spend £100 on plates that we're just going to bin at the end of the day. It's bad, you know. It's just wasteful, and how are we going to get rid of the trash? So managed to find out that we just was like, let's have a look and see how much they are to buy. Jumped on IKEA, 50p a plate. So spent £100 on plates from IKEA, and they just turned up. And yeah, man, yeah, that's a lot of plates. And this guy just turned up, and there was 6 big boxes of plates. I was like, I did not think this through.
All intact?
Haven't opened them, man. I'm too scared. It's like 200 plates, and now they're just all in the all in the shed. I was like, I need to empty storage, but I didn't want to miss out on the because it looked like they were on offer, or someone had put it on the website wrong. I mean, IKEA is cheap. I was expecting £1 per plate. I was like, this is £1.50. Like, this is going to be fine.
50p is good.
I was like, 50p.
Yeah.
Oh man. Tiff was like,
how many territory?
Yeah. She was like, how many did you buy? And I was like, well, let's just say I think we saved at least £100, and we'll never need to buy plates again. So our wedding favors are basically just going to be the plates that you use, which is
nice,
which is fine. And you know what? That's fine. That's all right. But yeah, I mean, we've got some Blood Bowl stuff to talk about, which is wicked. We were originally going to have Milton on because we went over to the Isle of Wight, which is where Milton has. Well, Milton's now an expat and lives there, and to play Sandbowl, which was awesome to see him, and it was awesome to go to Sandbowl, and we wanted to have him on so we could talk about the tournament. However, he is properly ill, not COVID. He's gone all hipster and got something else, and is like in a really bad way. Bless him. Yeah. He's got to be different.
Sounds of it, probably. Yeah, it doesn't seem great, but wish him a speedy recovery.
Man, he's always good fun to have on the podcast as well because he tends to go on a bit of a diatribe, and I absolutely love it. But never mind, we'll have to get him on in the future. But I tell you what, Ben, should we bounce and have a look at some of the news going on at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. It's quite a lot, actually.
Let's go straight to news. Okay, first we've got some Willy Miniatures news. So they're going live with a Kickstarter, I think, tomorrow. So we can't quite show you the Kickstarter page on here, which means we can't quite talk through what we normally do, which is talking about prices and things like that. But we do have a few of the images. Now, it looks like it's going to be an Orc, Goblin, and a Black Orc team, which makes sense because those pieces are pretty interchangeable. Just ask Grebo and the great work we've done with those. So we've got a few pictures here. Now, Ben, you say you've seen the Orcs before?
Yeah, they do an Orc team on their website currently. And I'm pretty sure it was like a fairly recent Kickstarter. I think it came out at a similar time to the Grebo one, because I remember 2 releasing side by side. Or the Kickstarters at least.
It was like a real Orc month.
Yeah, but and looking at the concept art as well, it seems very similar to the existing Orc models, which I will add are actually really good. However, what they've shown off some pictures of the goblins.
I love the goblins. Yeah, I don't think I've seen them before. Willy's miniatures, the detail's always great, and the models they produce are fantastic. I mean, Rick, who used to come to our club before he ran away to France, always big fan of Willy's miniatures, but they are quite tall, but actually the goblins, they pull it off really, really well.
I love the scale of goblin. It reminds me like D&D goblin.
Yeah, I was thinking Pathfinder, but obviously.
Yeah. Even better. No, that's
the same thing, I guess. And I think you mentioned that it's kind of Grebo-ish as well. And
yeah, I think it's the way they've done the sort of poses and the facial expressions. It's very kind of animated, like full of character, really, and they do remind me a bit of the Grebo ones.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing. So they've got the goblins, they've got the green maniacs, which are the special weapons guys. Now, there's a cool chainsaw with a funny little mask. Looks like his face has been stitched on together. There's a mad bomber with a bomb. You've got a fanatic bull, which is a clown, with basically one of those chomp things from Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, the chain chomps.
Yeah, the chain chomps, which is cool. I mean, man, clown goblins kind of freak me out. I mean, there's a couple of teams we've seen which are actually like just clown goblins that have been really, really creepy. So this one fits in with that. And then you've got the crazy Pogo, who is basically, in my opinion, Green Goblin from the Spider-Man movie. He just looks like he's a scientist too. So yeah, it was a crazy Pogo. Now, they're great sculpts. I'm very interested to see the price points and things like that. It's a shame he didn't get a Kickstarter preview angle to look at. The troll's quite interesting. It looks a little bit Lord of the Rings style, and I do love that there's a goblin in the hand being thrown, but it comes with an alternate snotling option, which
is cool.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah,
although I don't know if they're doing a snotling team.
No, not. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I doubt it, because none of these teams can take it, right?
No.
Orcs can't have snotlings, no, it's just a goblin.
No.
So
it's an interesting one.
It is interesting. I do like that there's the option included, though. It just means you can extend it even more if you wanted to use these in a snotling team, then you can.
Future proofing as well for them.
Yeah. I will say I'm not as big a fan of the troll.
The face, it reminds me of the Pirates of Orc Bay.
Massive, sort of very prominent jaws.
Yeah, massive maw, tiny eyes. I don't know. I think it's going to be good. The price point's going to be interesting for me because orcs, I think, they're it's quite saturated. When you look at third-party orc teams, I think we're really lucky. Now, there's some teams that there are not great options for, and there are teams that there are a ton of great options for. And orcs and black orcs are pretty well covered. And I mean, the Games Workshop ones to start with, awesome. Grebo ones are awesome. If you like the style of the Pirates of Orc Bay, which I actually kind of do, the R&E Studio have got some good alternatives for orcs as well. It's interesting. I mean, orcs are a fantastic tier 1 team. Like, they're great. And hey, more variety is awesome. So I hope they land this well, and I hope it does well. So I do like to see Willie's miniature stuff.
Yeah.
And, it always paints up well. But I did love the Squig Rider, or the Squig Dinosaur Rider, the Beast Rider Gob. That was awesome.
What's the deal with this? Is this included? Just like a freebie?
Well, I'm assuming this is going to be a star player that you can pick up. I mean,
right.
That Squig is massive.
It's awesome, isn't it? Like, if you're an AOS player, you'd love this as one of your, like,
that's basically the captain guy, isn't it? Like the hero. Yeah, this is hero sized.
Loon Boss and Cave Squig or something, I think. Yeah.
One thing I do like with the Squig, so we've got the Squig up on the screen at the moment, and it looks like a Squig. It's got the face, it's got the mask, the mask, it's got the mouth and everything, but it has a crest on its head, which I don't think you see on Squigs very often, and it works really well. It looks like honestly a Power Rangers helmet. It's probably the best way to describe it. But it's just got that dinosaur crest to it that works really well for Squigs. So I love it. Yeah, this guy is
adds
awesome.
A bit of texture, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so it's not just all flat.
It's not just a big red happy bouncy face. I love how they've gone with the armor here. That armor mask for the goblin is straight out of the Squig Herders, straight out of the AOS guys, and it's the best. It works really well. They've done a really good job of kind of digging into what is popular in goblin miniature stuff right now and pull it out.
Yeah,
you got the silly stuff, but then this is a really cool model. I think like you said, man, this would be great in AOS because it genuinely would. It would be great in any fantasy setting.
You said it with like the sort of new aesthetic, I think, and what I like about these goblins and the full team is they just look like dangerous.
Yes,
with the exception of the clown things, they're quite silly, but like the team and the regular goblins, they are sinister looking. They
look like real players.
Yeah, exactly. They're not just like goofy. Yeah,
I like that because I think with the dawn of Black Orcs, that's kind of the angle, and I do think it started with the Grebo guys. Like they're now small players as opposed to just a joke. And when it comes to stunty, that's pretty reasonable because if you're playing any kind of stunty cup, goblins are hench, man. Strength 2, armor 8+. They're just beast. They'll just dominate.
Since the new edition, the second season, I've genuinely found goblins to be pretty fierce.
Well, this is it. But the way goblins have changed, though, they've also they're not what they used to be at all. The goblins have to play Blood Bowl now. Before they were just like, LOL, I'm going to take some goblins and a load of stars. That's now the realm of the halfling people. Like if you want to, in quotes, take a Blood Bowl team, but you're really there to play with star players, halflings is kind of your blank canvas. Used to be goblins because it'd be like, I'm going to take all the like cheap stars and have a great time with goblins. Now you got to play Blood Bowl with these guys. Like there's no third troll, there's no Ripper. Like you can't. Your TV's too high. You can't sneak Morgan. You can't take Hackflem. Goblins got stitched in tier 2 in Stunty Land because the best star they've got is either Varag or the Black Gobbo. And Black Gobbo is a fun way to get a bomber in there, but he's not cheap.
No, but somehow they seem to be doing all right from what I've seen.
Goblins can play some serious Blood Bowl, and I absolutely love it. So that will be going live tomorrow. We'll share the link out if we get a good one to it, and at some point we'll probably delve into the different prices and things like that because it's fun. I think it's the first Kickstarter we properly looked at in a while. And it'd be cool to see the different options because it's fun to go through. The next one we got up is really interesting, and some of you are going to absolutely hate this one, but it's just too cool not to share out. And this one comes hot off the press. I believe it's from our 3D printing correspondent, Ian Triplo. Hi, Trips. Thank you for sharing all the links. Have you ever been watching the Clone Wars and thought, man, I'd love to have them as a Blood Bowl team? Well, you can. If you've got a 3D printer and it isn't, broken like mine. Yeah, well, yeah. Rest in plates. BB Heroes players, $15. You can get just some clone troopers, some fancy clone troopers with shoulder pads and everything, and they are just all holding footballs and playing Blood Bowl poses, and it's just awesome. And it's a team that nobody needs, and I cannot wait to print this. I just can't wait to. It might just print one guy, and mostly just because Sam Frenzy Garner is on a massive Star Wars binge at the moment. Star Wars Legion.
Play Legion with him.
Yeah.
Just
Here's my Cody.
Yeah.
He's got a leader. I don't know. I just think it's really cool. I mean, we've seen a ton of, and this is the great thing about Blood Bowl is I love the theme. I love Fantasy NFL. Like, I am right there. D&D meets NFL is just where I want to live. But I don't know. This is just clever. And the thing is, the sculpts are really well done. Like this, they just genuinely look like they're from the Clone Wars animated series. No, yes, the CGI one, not the original animated series.
Oh yeah.
That was sweet. That was underrated. Absolutely underrated. No, so that's from Juan P 3D. I don't know. I've put the link in the show notes. It's pretty cool. If you're a Star Wars fan or you want to upset some people at a tournament, then definitely look at picking these up because I don't know, they're well done. They're really well done, and they've got some cool other Star Wars miniatures on there as well. And next up, it's more 3D printing madness, which hurts me. So this is actually the Warg nameplate generator. So it is landed. It is live now on Kickstarter, and smashed the target. 6,600 so far with 24 days to go against a target of 850. So, like on the way to 10,000% succeeded. And if you've got a 3D printer and you like games, and you like having people named or positions labelled, or you've got, for example, a Star Wars Blood Bowl team and you want to make sure that your opponent can understand who's who, not just by painting some of them with blue shoulders and some of them with orange stripes and stuff, although that is a great way to do it. This nameplate generator is just really impressive. So what it is it's just a set of preset Blender files, and anybody that has Blender can just go in, and what you do is you just choose all the options on the right hand side and just make them visible or invisible. That's basically how it works. So it's this massive file with all these presets, they call them greeblies. So you can get like balls on the side, skulls on the side. Like if you've seen the Warg name printed plates before, I mean, we've got them for the Snotlings when they've done one for every Blood Bowl team. They do them for Warcry. There's loads of different themes in there, which is really cool. And it is expensive, but it is actually pretty good. So I backed it straight away.
At this point, so it's like,
sorry, man.
Yeah, like you're basically paying for software, right?
Yeah,
so
essentially.
Yeah,
at £41, gets you everything in there, which is all the different base sizes, all the different styles. Plus, they're going to be releasing more styles as they go, and updates and extra greeblies. I mean, £41 for literally nothing is a lot of money, but if you are like me and you play multiple games, well, probably not pay. If you buy multiple games and then wish you could play them, I don't know. Like I think we backed the STL files before, and it's like £15 for a team, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. If you go and shop at what is it, Versatile Terrain? Are they the guys who started off the craze? Gosh, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was.
A team, what's that, £25 for a team's worth of stuff? If you've got a 3D printer, that's kind of where you are. And I don't know, man, you can just brew up everything. And I really enjoyed mucking around with it. In fact, I think our video is actually on there, which is quite cool.
It is, yeah.
Hey,
Very
oh, they use stills from it as well.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Hey. Oh yeah, never did paint that tree man. Oh, never mind. Let's move on. Uh, but what I did do was base him and spray him brown.
Away.
Yeah, he's over there with some mana warships. Do you know what the worst thing about my printer being broken is? I missed 3 sails for 3 little cogs for the Bretonian fleet, and
Oh
I
man.
can't print them until my replacement part comes. So I've just got. I mean,
I've got mine up and running.
dude, I was really tempted to just be like, Ben, I need a really teeny tiny print. It's just 3 sails, so I can do this. But I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's printed or not. And this is the thing, like I've been lamenting the loss of it for now, but all it really means is I just have less piles of grey plastic that I'm not painting. So I was like, you know what, this is probably fine. Anyway, the Kickstarter for the nameplates is 24 days to go, so August 30th, and I don't know, they're keeping adding all the stretch goals, and which is extra greeblies and things like that. It's a great project, and the designer's really lovely guy. He's put a ton of work into this. We got to see some of like the developmental shots and how he was going, and this is a real labour of love, and I'm pleased to see that it's going well, because I logged on and within 3 minutes I'd made stuff, and I was like, this is really fun. This is really easy. Yeah, done a really good job there. Right, what else news-wise? Is that all the other stuff news-wise? Yeah. Scylla. Shall we talk Scylla, Ben? A little bit now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this. Were you expecting this?
Not at all. Not at all. Which is really strange, because I was thinking about. I think I was having a chat about Scylla with a mate, like a day before this came out. Like we were just talking about AOS and being, oh yeah, I remember Scylla. Oh yeah, he's in Blood Bowl. Did you know that? And it was like, oh no, I didn't know he's in Blood Bowl. I was like, yeah, he comes around there, and then the next day drops and there's a new Scylla bottle. It's just really bizarre timing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Games Workshop Potato Cam. On to you, Ben.
Yeah.
So Scylla Anfingrim has been dropped as a pitch side report. So what do you think of the model, man?
I love it. I think this is honestly fantastic. I know it was quite. I think it's a bit like hit or miss with the community from what I saw. Like some people really weren't a fan. I'm the only thing I'm not a fan of is the inevitable price of it. But I think like
Yep.
in terms of design and sculpting, I absolutely love this guy. What I think this is just like a really good reimagination of Scylla, especially compared to what we've seen from the reimagination, like the resculpted newer things that we've seen come out lately. I think this one is like a total redesign in a really good way. Looks like a Blood Bowl player now.
So also looks like can I pop it into the chat? I can't pop it into the chat without mucking around with the cameras. Also looks just like Troll Blood from War Machine and Hordes. Like there's one model, the Earthborn Dire Troll Blood Heavy Warbeast. Look, he's got like the same position, the same bouncing on one arm. He's got that same rounded features. Anyway, I think it's very cool, and I think it's great. We've got another star player coming. I mean, the design is really cartoony. It is the most cartoony model we've seen yet, and there's rumours, and this is completely unsubstantiated, and it's just rumours, that Windsor Chog may have had a hand in this, because Windsor Chog made some awesome models. Yeah, and then got employed by Games Workshop to make more models, which I am a huge fan. I think that was a great pickup by them. But some of the roundedness and the motion of this model, it's really similar to some of the models that Windsor did before. There's more detail on it.
Yeah, he did a troll which had this pose, right? A similar one, where it's like on one hand.
That troll was amazing. That troll was so good.
We love Windsor Troll's models, and I think that's why this one connected so much with me, because I mean that was before I even knew that he might have done it.
Yeah.
I think it's like you say, it is more cartoony, but in a really good way. I think it's just it's characterful. It's just got so much motion and power in it. It's just awesome. I think it's a really cleverly designed model, especially with like you've got him mid-air like
Crushing
fighting
a wood elf.
Yeah,
The wood
I
elf
just think
has
that's
been a
really
lot of there's been a lot of feedback about that wood elf, about like, why is there a player, like I really don't like the player on there. But somebody in on one of the video comments put in there is like, I'm not a big fan of the wood elf. However, when I paint him up as a referee, I'll be much happier.
yeah. That's a brilliant idea. That is
Right?
such a good
I
idea.
cannot remember who said it,
Yeah,
but I was like, that is inspired. What a great way to do it. Like, actually, because
yeah,
it is difficult. There's always that thing in even in Age of Sigmar armies and 40k and stuff, like, oh, I've got an ultramarine on the base. I'm like, yes, but you're playing against my Tyranids. Like, what? Why is
yeah.
that guy there? But actually, there is always a referee until there isn't a referee.
Until Zilla's along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So you kill him off. Here we go. Is Adam Hines actually? I hate the wood elf being on the base. I'll do my best to remove him or paint him up as a referee instead.
Mm.
Which is a brilliant idea there. Nicely done, Adam. That's very cool, because that will paint up brilliantly. And hey, now referees are in Blood Bowl. We've got a bit of practice with the black and white stripes. Anyway, and somebody else said they didn't like his socks. But there is a bit of fluff. There is a bit of fluff around the socks. He's wearing these big woolen socks. The only thing that comes close to deflating Anfingrim's imposing stature is his quaint adherence to the standard Blood Bowl uniform guidelines. He is never seen without league-mandated socks, which regularly draw chuckles from opposing team members. However, such behaviour simply marks him as prime targets for his next furious tackle. So he's got these big old GI woolen socks. I'm going Argyle on these. That's my self-imposed painting challenge. Argyle socks for Scylla, I think, would just be awesome. Or like little love hearts or something. There's a fun bit of painting to go on there.
Yeah.
I think this is the best Forge World Star Player.
I think, even though I said about the price, I might just still pick this up.
Yeah.
Just because I love the model so much. And painting this up will be amazing.
It's big. It's a big old Khorne bad boy as well, Ben. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if the player becomes like an unplayable star, this would be a good Bloodthirster stand in.
Well,
Really
Bloodthirster, and if you are running if you're running a Chaos team, because of who he is and because of how the team fits, there's always there's up to one big guy. He could be a troll, he could be a Minotaur, he could be your ogre. I think that's one really cool thing about this, is that he can just be your big guy for a Chaos team. Like I said this about Frank, and Frank ended up being smaller than a standard Golem, which is a massive shame given that Frank is supposed to be strength 5 and Golem's are strength 4. Like, I thought Frank's a cool model. You could pick him up, use him as an ogre in your Sylvanian themed human team, but you can't. You could maybe use him as a big blitzer. But this guy, I mean, looking like there's a wood elf laying down on the base. That's got to be a 40 mil base, and he looks like a chunky boy. If that's a 32 mil base, that's going to be disappointing. I just can't see it being a 32 mil base with a
the size
wood
of
elf.
the elf. Yeah, looking at what 40 mil here.
I reckon so.
Yeah, that's ooh. Yeah, that's got to be 40. If it was 30, he'd be really hanging off the edges.
Yeah. Well, we've got another star player, and we've already seen Max Spleen Ripper, again, covered with Khorne symbols. This guy covered in Khorne symbols, and he's got his brass collar as well. That really got us thinking. So later on in the episode, we're going to have some, what did I call it? A cornucopia of Khorne rumours.
Unreal.
I know, right? And we're basically going to take a bit of a dive into what this could mean, what we think it means, what it probably means, and what we'd like it to mean. But I think Blood Bowl news-wise, Ben, that covers everything that's going on that I've got listed down that Trips has sent across. And
yeah, I think so.
Cool. Most importantly, then, it comes to the new Patreons of the episode. So I just want to say a massive thank you to the loads of people that support us on Patreon. It's brilliant. I appreciate your support. We do a load of polls on there. You help choose what content we make, which is awesome. Get a few bits of loot as well, and we do competitions over there as well. This week we are joined by Alejandro Hoyas, Paul Saunders, Gents, Saul Alexander, Jamie Eden, Noah Tonkin, Mark Pilgrim, Martin Vitter Larson, Andrew Gill, and Gustavo Lorente. And thank you very much for joining the crew and for supporting us out on Patreon. It means that we can upgrade things. It means that we can get our hands on models and buy them and do reviews and things. So it's an awesome support. We massively appreciate you. So yeah, just a big thank you. And now for hobby. Okay, BT, what have you been hobbying?
Again, quite a lot. Still crunching away at Necrons. This second batch is taking its sweet time. There's just lots and lots of armor to stipple because I'm doing like a little stipple effect on them. Getting there. I actually made a Trello board. So anyone who's in like IT or manufacturing, that is, yeah.
That's still a thing?
Yeah, I use it all the time. My job, I'm a software developer. We use like Kanban board. So I've made one of those with all the progress, and I've made a little card for each unit. And in the card is a checklist of each stage. And as things are checked off, it'll move over and then upload pictures on completion of one stage. And I sent that over to the guy. It's done for, and he seems quite grateful for that. It just means I don't have to like constantly say, "Hey, I've done this," and you can just check in and see it. So that's my hobby in terms of like I've actually digitized some of the hobby. Done a U.
I was going to say, why aren't you vlogging this? Like, come on, vlogging or doing something, because you're doing a ton of awesome work there as well.
Yeah, I think like the trouble is with all this stuff going on, I've kind of just got to pick it up when I can. So I'm trying to get up early in like mornings and do a couple of hours before work, and then Alison will go walk a dog for an hour, and I'll probably come up here and just try and get some paint on them. So it's kind of like this is a really just drop in, drop out hobby. It does, however, mean I've got paint everywhere because I don't want to have to put things away. So yeah, my desk is horrendous. Like that's why I've got a nice clean one behind me.
No. I was going to say the office looks very tidy. Whose post-its are they on the wall?
It looks tidy from like around this window. The camera's intentionally positioned.
Well, you've seen the studio here now, so you know how untidy every bit else is. It's basically half studio, half storage, and it is just storage pile.
It only needs to look like 1 square meter.
Yeah, that's it. From here to here is clear. Everything else is just a trip hazard basically. No, that's wicked. I mean, the Necrons look so cool, man, and some outrageous progress is being made. Like,
no, thanks. I just wish they could be a bit faster. I think I just need a couple of good days to smack it out. However, I've kind of like shafted myself a little bit because I've taken up a new game and kind of gone all in.
This is something I am very excited about as well. Yeah,
so the game by Parabellum called Conquest: Last Argument of Kings. It's a rank and flank. Looks something like this. Okay, when they fall, so
needs more magnets.
Yeah, they've all fallen. Yeah, there you go. They're all gone. It's like it's a 38mm rank and flank. By the game was written by Alessio Cavatore, who did the original Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
I did not know that. I mean, Alessio didn't do the original. I think it came in on like 4th edition or something. But Alessio is an absolute legend. He's done so many great games, and he's a lovely man as well. I've met him at Salute a couple of times.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, Alessio. I've met Alessio. I've met Rick Priestley. I've never met Jarvis though. I never met Jarvis. Probably because I mean, he stayed loyal to Games Workshop, but Alessio, Paul Sawyer, that bloke from White Dwarf, and Rick Priestley all broke off and went and did their other stuff. So I met them. I think
he's done a few things. I think he's pretty much like a freelance designer.
What a job!
Because he's not involved with them anymore for this game, but he just I think they got him on board. He just wrote some rules and was just like, go have fun, and they start adding stuff like the lore, the models, and then they constantly rebalance. It's all the rules are online and free, which is just very refreshing, which we can probably talk about. But I don't know. I'm just loving it. There's a really good community in Southampton for it. It's honestly, if you play like there's a few armies, it's actually pretty cheap to get into. You get quite a lot of bang for buck. There's loads of freebies. I had a demo game. You just get given a free box of stuff for just playing it. And it's just really cool. It's a cool system. It's really, really, really neat system. It's very reminiscent of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, from what I've heard. There are definitely similarities. It's been described as, or I've heard it described, and this isn't from Parabellum, I will say. I've heard it described by some fans as kind of like a natural development for Warhammer. Like what if Warhammer Fantasy Battle continued and was like modernized, it would kind of go in this direction, which is probably a good thing.
So I like it. I like the look of the game. I like the sound of the game. When we went to the Isle of Wight, we were on the ferry, and you were kind of telling me how the rounds play, and I'm like, that sounds really good. Like that just sounds interactive and positive for a rank and flank game. So yeah, I'm like proper close to diving in. It all depends. It all depends on what happens with my 3D printer situation. Will hobby budget have to be spent on a new one? Will I get the hobby budget to do it? And then the choice of, do I just print an army or do I go? Anyway, that's beside the point. But you were talking about the game and how it interacts. It sounds really fun. So I do definitely want to get a game in. I do have one question. Like, why do you think they went 38 mil? Why did they Adeptus Titanicus it? Like, why?
Yeah, I think part of it is kind of uniqueness. It stands out. It's kind of like you see it and you think, that's for Conquest because it's so big. Like, I mean, look at this. This is cavalry. It's huge. Like on camera, this thing is. I don't have a comparison. Yeah, here you go.
Come on, have you got the Coke can test? Oh wow, okay.
That's a Blood Bowl mini. So these things are huge. I think it, for a start, looks really impressive. So I was chatting to someone, they say when there's events and they're doing demo games, people flock to it because you can see from a distance these people pushing around these awesome looking horses and stuff. It does get people's interest.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just kind of works really nicely for that. I mean, you're a fan of really small scale.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of the opposite. But I don't know. Maybe I think it's just for uniqueness. It's fun to paint big stuff too. So
that's it. I imagine it's easier to paint as well.
Yeah, the model's quite simple.
But bigger stuff is potentially. I mean, hey, every scale creep's happening. I mean, if you look at the Blood Bowl miniatures now compared to the Blood Bowl miniatures of 10 years ago, the 10 years ago ones just look rubbish now because they look a much different scale. So, and while I am a huge fan of 15 mil and below, like blooming love a good 3mm game or a 1/900th scale naval game. Look at my ships over there. Hey guys, love you. I'll paint you eventually when I print your sails off. Like, I don't know, the game does look cool, and I do want to get a game in with you soon because there's a
for sure.
it just looks good. And then I might get dragged into either. I mean, it's what, £99 for a starter army essentially, because you get the box set and some other stuff.
There's a whole bunch of deals. Like I got that core box, which you get 2 armies that you can play out the box. And then when you buy that, you also choose 2 extra boxes of your choice for free. And then I also just recently got, like, they have certain boxes where it's like €4.99, and then Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy had a code which get you an extra free one. You got a free one for playing a demo game. So it's like I've suddenly just got loads. And I've only spent like under £150.
Yeah, that's it. That's the tempting thing, and that's really clever. I mean, you and I had a chat about this. Like, imagine it, like Games Workshop, generally speaking, do this quite poorly. Hey, buy direct from us and you'll definitely maybe get your product, or buy it cheaper from a third party and you maybe get your product. Well, these guys just go and buy it from a vendor, like it'll be discounted, no worries, or buy it from us and we'll just get you an extra box with it. And then it's really like, okay, this is interesting. Like, we love supporting Entoyment, so whenever there's a release out, whether it's Dystopian Wars, Blood Bowl, whatever, I'm like, yep, Entoyment, have my money, please, send me good stuff. But when it comes to these guys, like, you can get the starter set from Entoyment, but actually, if you go with the main distributors, it's clever. If Games Workshop start doing that, there'll be a lot of stores, I think, that will be in trouble. Fortunately, Games Workshop are probably not that inclined to organise themselves. Because they're busy just, cancelling everything fun on YouTube. So that's that's cool.
I always say it's like in the current climate, with what we've seen and stuff online and things like that, it's it may be a good time to just check out some of these other games, because there are some really good games out there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And those
yeah.
games are Warmaster, Man of War, Battlefleet Gothic. There's a ton of good stuff out there. And of course, Conquest. So yeah, if the game is cool, Ben, and if my printer starts working, I don't know. If I have to order a part for the print, it depends. Because if I don't know, like printing, we talked about it at length the other week. There is a limit at which you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna buy the stuff, like that's fine. But there's also a limit, and there was this video that landed on YouTube the other week where some dude painted his entire printed and painted an entire army, and I was like, oh, this looks good, this looks fun, and I was like, oh, that could be fun to do for Conquest. It looks very much like the Middle Earth battle game that they had, and it's just because of the bases with like crossed with Song of Ice and Fire, like it does look cool.
Yeah.
But my printer had some bad times.
Yes.
So I turned it on and it started making this weird bomb noise, is probably the only way I can describe it. Every sci-fi ever, every counter-terrorism movie ever, someone arms the bomb and there's that whine where it charges, right? Everybody knows that really aggravating noise where it's like, oh, it's winding up, it's going to explode soon, watch out for them running away from the camera. Well, it didn't explode, which was obviously useful, because where would I store the wedding plates? But what it did do was just continue making that noise until I unplugged it, and then when I plugged it back in again, nothing happened, nothing at all the power had gone. I was like, well, that's aggravating. So I messaged Elegoo and it was fine, and I was just like, I'm just going to go buy a different power plug. So I jumped on Amazon, picked up an extra power plug, which of a type that I believed to be the right one. It certainly fit the hole, and still no power to it. So Elegoo is sending me a proper power pack, but I don't think it's the power pack now. I think the unit is knackered. So I've got another power pack coming.
Okay.
And I don't think that's going to work.
We do some live tech support on the podcast. Is just wondering, because I had my print. We've got the same printer. My one did something crazy few months into it as well. So is it actually turning on?
No.
Does the screen come on?
No.
Nothing.
So there is a blue light on the power pack, and it makes that whining noise, and it is the actual what is it called? Not converter, not transistor. Transformer? I don't know. Yeah, the block. Okay. There's a little LED light on, and it makes a heck of a whining noise. And I was like, well, that is definitely that. So I'm like, oh, this is fine. It's the power pack. I'll just get a new power pack, and it'll all be fine. So I bought one, and it wasn't fine. And now I'm a bit worried. Because the tech support, they were like, hey, undo the back. Play with these wires. Play with these wires. Play with these wires. I was like, no, I'm not opening it up and playing wires. One, because that means I've got to take the resin out of the resin tray, and I can never be bothered to do that, because what I do is just buy more resin trays. I was like, so no, I'm not going to buy more resin trays. So yeah, now I'm sitting on the fence as to whether or not I need to upgrade to a Saturn, or they're going to fix it for me, and I can just carry on printing things I don't need. I don't know. It's been sad.
It's funny, isn't it? How it's like as soon as you don't have access to it, you want to print everything.
Yeah. It's building up this collection of STL files that I'll never print, but I have this need to print things. But it is probably useful.
Once you've got one, I think you can't go without one, because, like you say, you've invested all this into the STLs. That sunk cost fallacy, isn't it? Yeah. Like, you have to get a printer because you need to be able to print the stuff you've been spending a year and a half building up.
Well, but I mean, Ben, it's for the podcast.
Yeah,
it's for the podcast. We do a Blood Bowl podcast, and if I cannot print off mana warships, well, nothing bad's going to happen at all. But that's not the point. Like, if I can't print off 10mm high elves, mana warships, and epic models, so that you and I can carry on building our CNC RTS game. Right. This is it. Printer dies, and then you're like, oh man, that idea we were talking about? It's such a great one. I'm just there twitching. So I'm like, well, what I can do for you, Ben, is draw things on coins. That's as much as I can do right now. It's like, well, what I'll be doing is printing out little rhinos so that I can game design.
Looking at Harvester designs the other day.
It's so cool. Anyway, Blood Bowl hobby. I painted Hack Flem ready for the tournament. Did it on the stream last time. That was cool. And what else has happened in the Blood Bowl world? Oh my good golly, Norba. Have you had your Norba stuff turn up yet, Ben?
No, which does make me think: did I actually put the address in?
Oh,
I never got prompted.
If you've got any problems, then just let me know and I'll message Eduardo. He's a good guy. He's a great guy. So we've got a little Norba comment and like situation going on. Comment the team name, and I'll do the draw on Monday for that. And Norba are going to send out 2 Bretonnian teams and 2 Empire teams. And dude, I don't know if you've had a chance to look, but the ogres are awesome. They are really good. Yeah, man. Like the Bretonnian one, he's got his little square hat on and he just looks very adorable. But the nobility ogre, boom, done. There is a nobility ogre now. Like your conquista guy is awesome. Your conquista ogre is awesome, but this guy is nobility. He's got the puffy trousers, he's got the hat, he's got the feathers. He's just done. It's just they've nailed it. And as soon as that becomes available for just retail, I mean, I because of their prices, that's going to be like £10. Like nobility ogre complete. Like just genuinely mission complete. So I've got those guys. I'm going to start painting them up soon because that's just going to be my little palette cleanse.
Nice.
But yeah,
I need them to arrive. I was going to use those as my like journeyman and extra lineman for my team. So I do need them to arrive because I need a journeyman for my league.
Oh yeah, have you played any more league games since we last recorded?
No, I've been really bad in attendance.
I haven't made it yet, but as the first stage of this restructure enters group consultation, my work I won't be able to do anything, so I should be able to just start coming to club again on a Tuesday, which will be pretty wicked because I'm looking forward to busting out the Black Orcs. Because I think Black Orcs are great. I mean, I had a great time with Snotlings, but for League, I want to see what the Black Orcs are all about. We've given it a good run with nobility. It's Black Orc time. Anyway, BT, shall we talk about Sandbowl?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, let's take a little break and we'll be right back. Okay, before we move on to Sandbowl 3, just wanted to say that Alessio Cavatore was actually in The Return of the King as a Rohirrim at the Battle of Pelennor Fields, which is awesome. Pretty cool. They can be seen near the Mumakil. Peregrine Took goes searching for Meriadoc, Brandybuck among the... Yeah. So he just goes... Oh, they're also on the base of the Games Workshop Mumak miniature, which is awesome. Imagine that.
Yeah, I think I heard that when they sculpted it. They were just like...
Here's Alessio. But seriously, what a dream job. What we're going to get you to do is build a miniatures game based on the Lord of the Rings movies. You get to be in the movie. Oh, man. Yeah, Alessio, I salute you. You've done it right, mate.
The Tolkien of tabletop.
And he's just an absolutely awesome man. Anyway, so Sandbowl happened. Now, we talked about it for a couple of episodes, but the breakdown of Sandbowl was that you had to take 1 star player, could be in your starting 11, so you did not have to get 11 players before you took stars. And what was it, 1200 TV, Ben? In the end?
Yes. Yeah, it was.
So 1200 TV, had to have 1 star. I do like this. Like, we've talked about different tournament like metas and the formats at the moment. There's kind of starting to be a big divide between no stars, all stars. It's really quite interesting. But the key here is that Sandbowl's always been about the star players, which makes sense because in the old edition, there was a lot of times you wouldn't see them. In the new edition, there's a lot of times you don't not see them. So it's interesting. So Sandbowl stuck with it, and it did mean that we got to see a ton of star players on the day, which I think we'll probably talk about as we go through it. But BT, talk me through your list if you can.
Yeah, so I took nobility. Oh, sorry, yawning. I took nobility. I wanted to try them in tournament, and I'm glad I did because they're really good fun. I took the star I chose was Zug, and I pretty much took him as a flat upgrade to an ogre. Then I went for the 2 blitzers, 4 bodyguards, 2 throwers, and 2 linemen, and 2 rerolls. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a full team. and just a bunch of I think a couple of cheerleaders. But yeah, it was I think it was a solid list. From playing the games, it felt solid. Nobility start with a lot of skills, and when you can upgrade the ogre to have block and no bonehead, that's pretty solid. So yeah, it's I really enjoy playing it.
It was a really cool build. Getting one skill per at the beginning of each game was really interesting because you and I talked about this being a really good, potentially a really good way to do a sevens tournament because it very much mirrors Seven Super Series and it works brilliantly in sevens. And we kind of thought, I don't know how it's going to work for 11s. The key thing there is that you sat down with your opponent and you chose your skill at the table, which was very bad for me. Because it just meant that I sat down, they were like, hey, what team are you playing? And I was like, Snotlings with Hackflem. And they said, oh, cool, I'm going to take Tackle, which was really, really fun. But it did work out. Now, I got to take Snotlings with Hackflem. So I had 2 Trolls, a Pump Wagon, 2 Flingers, because why not? 2 Runners, 2 Hoppers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Snotlings, Hackflem, 4 rerolls, an assistant coach, 2 bribes, and riotous rookies. So I went armed to the teeth with the little guys, and it was awesome. And because I was tier 3, I could take 2 normal skills or 1 double every round. So I just went to town with some crazy stuff. It was absolutely wicked. I loved the team, had a great time with the team, and it was a really cool thing. So Ben, you and I set off nice and early. We got the ferry across. I was going to drive the ferry across, but you did point out that that was a terrible idea. It was much quicker, easier, and cheaper for us to just not do that. So we didn't do that. Then Miltonio Banderas picked us up from the ferry station, which was wicked.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It just went smoothly. It was like,
oh man,
sensational that.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's cool. I was like, what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to go play Blood Bowl abroad. It was very, very, very cool. So who did you get first match? Who was your first match up against?
Right. So we've mentioned him a lot on this podcast. Wayne Peters.
Yeah, Wayne. Horseshank Redemption.
Yeah, so Wayne was the winner of Beachhead. He was also the winner of Bonehead 2021, or Bonehead Bowl. He is a very good player.
He's not bad. Yeah.
I got matched up against his Chaos Dwarf team on round 1 and thought, right, okay, I guess I'm not winning this tournament then.
Well, your last competitive Blood Bowl game was against Wayne, wasn't it? At the last round.
Both of us
on the top table.
Yeah, it was the final at Bonehead. So yeah, we went from that straight into a rematch in the next tournament game. Yeah, so we did find that really fun. And yeah, he's such a lovely guy. He's really good fun to play against. He really, really makes you think. And for me, playing Nobility, which is still fairly new experience, especially in a tournament setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough. And he took Morgan Hackflem on a Chaos Dwarf team, which
his team was wicked. Down.
You've got a brand new video game, and you just it's got like a nightmare difficulty setting, and it's like, right, I'm just going to pick that and go in. That's what it felt like. Skip the tutorial. Just going to jump straight in on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, it was awesome. So, how did the match play out for you?
Exactly as you'd expect. No, it wasn't actually that bad. I'm trying to remember the score now. It feels like it was a really long time. It was only a couple of weekends. I think it was 2-1.
It was 2-1.
Yeah, I remember because I pressured him to score earlier than he wanted. He wanted to delay he received, and he wanted to delay it and just get the one turn. Just get one touchdown in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
But I did force him to score, which led to me scoring in return. I think I had a good play with. Basically, I elfed it with the thrower and catcher with the blitzer, and it was pretty epic. Yeah, so I managed to pull it. I think it was 2 turn touchdown with Nobility, which felt really good because they're quite a bash team and slow
they
team.
They can definitely do it, man. The blitzers are speedy.
Yeah.
And having catch in there is really good as well. They're decent, man.
Yeah. It felt really fun. Yeah, but then on the receiving end, when you're up against Chaos Dwarves and all they need to do is grind you down and score against you with Hack Flem, it's not that hard. Morg comes
Especially,
in,
I was going to say,
knocks you down,
backed up
and
by
takes
Morg. Mighty
Yeah.
Blow +2 is it's just so good. Like, it seems really obvious thing to say out loud, but like, it's better than you think.
I ranked Morg E tier in our star player tier list.
Yeah.
That was, in hindsight, pure fallout from the previous edition. I take everything back. I was wrong. This is a public apology. At the time, I just wasn't
We're
really.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
That's BP, not BT. That's cool. I mean, Wayne's a star. Nobility did good, and 2-1. I mean, that's not bad against Chaos Dwarves with Hack Flem and Morg run by Wayne. So yeah, I mean, that's cool. And the good thing I think this is the thing about Wayne is you'll play him and it's a game. Like, not like, but you're in it. And I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or I don't know, but it always feels like a competition with him, and it's awesome to be. And that's the cool thing about Blood Bowl is you can play the guy who goes and wipes the tournament repeatedly. You got a chance. You're in the game. I think he might be just allowing you to feel that way. But I don't know. It was wicked. My first game was against Boba Fett's mum. Also known, Stuart, who was running Orcs, and it was a really cool build. It was a cool team. What did he have? It was Grack and Crumbleberry with a couple of goblins as well. It was awesome, but man, Grack just failed like 4 boneheads in the first half. And a couple in the second. Grack did a rubbish job. I felt so bad for Stuart on this one. Now,
You hate that on a star, right? When you pay for the star and they just don't do anything.
Well, you're just like, Bonehead, fine, I'm going to lose him a couple to 3 turns of the game, but not like 6 turns. And I kept bombing, but I just bombed the hell out of him. That was my strategy, was like, I'm just going to put this flinger here and throw it at your guys. And I just kept bombing Grack into the ground. So he'd Bonehead, he'd stand up, and then I'd just bomb him into the ground the next turn. And just kept like throwing bombs at him just so that it kept him out of the game. And it really did help. I pulled off some horrific shenanigans in the very last turn of the first half with Hack Flem. Like, I just snotlinged everywhere. I used guys one-on-one, used TVOP to my advantage. Like, one snotling on a Black Orc, that's me maxing my TV by 6. And just had a great time with that. And then just swarmed, like literally just ran over, mobbed the ball carrier, hooned it up the other side of the pitch, and then just with a couple of cheeky 4+4+ moves with Hack Flem, bounced into 2 tackle zones. He's edge 2+ with extra heads. That's -2. That's a 4+ roll with a reroll, and then picked up the ball on a 4+ and just 3+, 2+ himself to a turn 8 touchdown in the first half, a defensive touchdown. I was like, well, that was filthy, but it was worth the shot. Like, and this is the thing, like, I love snotlings, but you give me a gutter runner and I will try stuff that shouldn't work. And sometimes it works, right? Most of the time it doesn't, but people never remember the time these things just don't work. I've got a great one of those against Wayne later on. But, sometimes you just roll a couple of 4s and you're like, I've got to try this now. Might as well. It's turn 8. Let's go see if I can just walk in there and he's got the ball and he's out of the cage and can he get in rush? And I've got a touchdown. It was pretty wicked. So it 1-0 up. Then I received, which just led to me pile driving my way around. Now, it wasn't pile driving, but what I did do, it wasn't in this game. So our first game was 2 regular skills because I'm stunty, and I just went, I think I just went guard on the trolls. Was it guard? No, it was guard and pile driver on the pump wagon. Right, hear me out. Okay, pile driver allows you to make a foul. The pump wagon has got dirty player. Guard gives you assists on fouls. Having a million players gives you assists on fouls. So what it allowed me to do was open up with a cheeky blitz with the pump wagon and then just go 3 die block into a foul with +2/+3, and I was like, boop boop boop, There's a blitzer gone. So, I ended up removing a couple of blitzers and a thrower early on to KOs. And I was like, ooh, I've now got basically double the players. Like, it was cool. Pump wagons.
They're getting set up anyway, aren't they?
It's just great. It's just great. And then just ground it out. Just spent a lot of time bombing things and just punching things and snotlinging things, and snuck a second TD in there with snotlings and went 2-0. I was like, hey, that was. I felt dirty about the Hackflem thing. But I was like, actually, my strategy was to one-on-one match up and just try and use dodge to stay alive. And this is the thing though, Stuart, bless him, it failed a million boneheads with Grak and then could not break snotling armor. Like, it was just, I felt so bad. It was just, and that's a 4, and that's a 4, and that's a 4. I even was like, if you want to borrow my dice, like, do you want to borrow some more dice? Do you want to use a D20? Just, I couldn't get it. It was really tough, which just meant that I lost like nobody. And I just had a million snotlings. And a million snotlings is a great way to play Blood Bowl, because it means that...
It honestly is. Yeah.
It's just
proper horde gameplay.
My goal was to do the dirty player pile driver as much as possible on the day, but also get as many 2-dice snotling blocks as I could. And that was kind of my strategy with the guard troll there and just a million people. I was like, yeah, let's take a 2-block on this blitzer and knocked him out with a snotling. And it was pretty cool. It was really good fun. And snotlings just got such a great defense. And then the thing is, if it all goes to hell, you can just throw a dude. You can just throw a snotling. So I was like, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a snotling at the cage, and then I'm going to bomb it. And it was just, and then I'm going to blitz with this pump wagon. And it was just like, it was good.
Sounds a lot of fun.
It was fun. But I've got to say, you and I tried to film a YouTube game, and because snotlings were pretty full on, and it'd been a while since we played on the tabletop, we sacked off the filming because we were like, no, we've just messed up so many rules here.
Yeah.
What I did do is, I got to play with snotlings, and I sat down. I was like, yes, I actually know what this team does, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So I felt pretty good winning with snotlings. At the first round, and then it was round 2. So this is a 4-round tournament. Ben, who did you play in the second round?
This round was Chris. There is not much to say about this game. He was playing orcs. I took dodge on my
blitzer.
So I had guard before and a bodyguard. Took dodge on a blitzer, so I had dodge. He had 2 guard. And yeah, I played a couple of turns, then lost like 4 players, and then played a couple more turns. Another like 3 players went out. By the end of the first half, I was down to 2 players. I think 1 came on knockout. So second half I had 3 players on the line of scrimmage. And then a couple of turns in, they were all gone, and I got pitch cleared by before the second, halfway through the second.
Man. That is just, I couldn't believe it, because you were playing kind of diagonally behind me, and I was like, oh, they're at half time. Like, no, you were like, now we're done. It's like, what happened, man? You're like, I have no team left.
It was just every block was a player down, and every armor roll broke it, and every injury was either a casualty or a knockout. Just all the time, all day long. But all 11 players.
That's just unbelievable.
I was straight away. Oh, what happened? I remember this now. So I did a kickoff, and the ball scattered onto the troll, which was on the line of scrimmage against Zug, who caught the ball. So the ball scattered onto the troll. He caught the ball. Then first block of the game was against Zug, and he killed him.
He killed Zug.
He killed Zug.
Oh my god!
He just straight up. He just took a block on Zug after catching a ball and killed him, and then he scored with the troll.
Well, you love trolls, so that must have been like fine for you.
Yeah, to be fair, it was like what I was saying to him is like, these are the games you remember, and the reason we play Blood Bowl is from the memorable experiences. I will never forget.
There's a hell of a narrative there.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, he's got to model like a medal onto that troll now, because you never do that again. Yeah, it was an insane game. I've never had that before where I just get absolutely wiped, especially in a tournament. But yeah, it was just an uphill battle. Oh, Actually, sorry. One more memorable case. I had 2 players left. I had a blitzer in his half. I had a thrower surrounded by everyone except one square, fully surrounded. The ball was in my half with 2 tackle zones on it. It was loose. My turn. My thrower dodged out of this surrounding, so I think it was a 5+ dodge, 4+ dodge, or 3+ dodge. Ran round, picked up the ball on a 5+, threw it long bomb on a 6+ to the catcher who caught it. on a 4+, he was in a tackle zone, and then blitzed out and then failed the blitz and fell over. And
Oh
died.
man.
It was like the thrower just did everything right. Just rolled everything, gave it to the blitzer who caught it, but then failed to actually move out of there.
I don't feel quite so bad about Hackflem now.
Yeah, it's like all of the dice seem to be like 5s and 6s for the whole game. Just everything, like nothing failed, except from like because I didn't get the blocks in because my players were being removed. So all the armor rolls were really hot. So
man, that's just so fun.
Hmm.
Right, I went into round 2 on table 2, and I ended up playing against a guy called Rick, who was running Underworld. He was actually running Wayne's. He's one of Wayne's friends, so he was running Wayne's Underworld team from Bonehead Bowl. I was like, this
Nice.
team looks very familiar. Now, Rick was very hungover on the day because they'd all come across the night before, been drinking, and then come to play Blood Bowl. And I don't know, man, like Blood Bowl sober can be pretty tough, but Blood Bowl hungover is pretty horrific. Now, this was an underworld build with Varag, like Varag and a Rat Ogre. So proper hench build up. And again, I got really lucky with some die rolls and really lucky with some removal. And what skill did I think I took the guard again on a troll and accurate on a bomber. Oh, accurate.
Ooh.
It was awesome. Bombs, man. They are so good because it's just a 3+ bomb for a short range one. And I'm running 4 rerolls, so like if it goes horribly wrong, it's fine. But actually, an accurate bomb is fine most of the time. So it's a 4+ short bomb now.
Do you struggle with the movement though?
No. And this is what after this game, after the Orc game, I was like, actually, what might be fun is running a fire team of bombardiers, right? Both on the pitch, one moves while one bombs, and then they move the next round. But actually, it was fine because there was always a target. Now, going into this, like the bomb was great, but then Varag decided that he just hated the bombardier. So the Varag just started trying to pound my bombardiers into the dust, which was fine because the bombardier, 30k. Varag, what, 250? I was like, that is a trade-off I'm all right with right now. Like, that's okay. And it just meant that actually I could focus on defense and turning over the ball and just absolutely snotlinging my way through things. And just the great thing about snotlings is there's generally always a dude nearby that can just take a couple of 2+ dodges onto the ball. So, you know, every net, like most of the time, if the ball is loose, you're looking at 2+, 2+, 4+. Oh, I've got the ball now. And it's just like phenomenal because there's a million of them. And it was just carnage. So I think we went into the beginning of the second half. I was either 2-0 or 3-0 up. Just because it'd gone so well, because I was like, and the pump wagon takes this guy out, and the troll spats this guy, and then I foul this guy with the snotlings. Like, it was just these snotlings were out for revenge, and I don't know who'd upset them, but it was pretty brutal. And just
Underworld do so well. That's such like a top tier team.
I think Varag was a bit of a liability. No, that's not fair. I think Varag is very easily countered by snotlings because he can't dodge much. So, and the difference between Varag and a human lineman is nothing when you are fighting a snotling.
Exactly.
Because it's 3 dice, so it's like, okay, you're gonna get 3 dice. He hasn't got a tackle. I'm probably gonna be fine, and I'm gonna sidestep myself into a place where I want to be, and that's what it was most of the time. And the Rat Ogre, man. So I just had a wonderful time with the Rat Ogre. Absolutely brilliant time. Snotling leading him around. It's just... We saw this at Bonehead Bowl. So I saw what the guys did at Bonehead Bowl to like bloodthirsters and stuff. And just... was like, that's really good. Like, it was literally, I was sitting there, I was Tom Hardy, my finger was up, and everyone could see the words, "That is bait."
Yeah.
And they were, 15k for a Snotling to then lead the Rat Ogre astray. So I had the Rat Ogre on the right wing, just chasing
Mhm.
Snotlings around the sideline, and Varag on the left hand side, just pounding Bombardier into the dirt. And that meant that my other 11 to 12 players could then focus on the Underworld guys. And it's not difficult to get good blocks against goblins.
Yeah, I know. It's that real struggle with the frenzy big guys, isn't it? Because it's you choose where you go, and then you just
Yeah,
lead them around. Like, they have to go
sidestep.
two squares
It's
in the
just
direction
great.
you want.
So I had a wonderful
Yeah,
time bombing things. Um, I mean, and it went into the third half, and at that point, Rick was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna kill stuff now." I was like, "That is absolutely fine." So Varag spent most of the second half chasing Hackflem around, and just trying to murder him. Like literally, it was like 3 die, 3 die, 3 die, and Hackflem would not go down and would not die. Um, it was a cool match. It was a cool match. That I got some really lucky breaks in the first half, and you just a couple of key die rolls with Snotlings, and then they run away. And the thing is, like, you're like, okay, I'll get a Snotling in the backfield with the ball. That's fine. I can tackle him. Except you're based. Everybody's
Mm.
based all of the time by Snotlings. You never have a free player, and with swarming, you've always got more players than them. So your ball carrier and the guy who's stunned, you still got 11 on 11, and you get removal because you've got the bomber, because you've got two trolls, and because you've got a dirty player pile driving little pump wagon who's just running around just blitzing stuff for the lols. It was good.
Very good.
It went really well.
It made me so happy to see you doing so well with Snotlings. You're just like, is Ben going to win this with
I
Snotlings?
was really happy. I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm 2-0. That's great. I've achieved the Snotling goal now. I'm 50%. That's wicked. I don't really mind what happens the rest of the day." I was chuffed after one win. I was like, "Don't mind.
Yeah.
I just I go to a tournament. I'll bring the softest team available just to throw off the casualty ranks because it's funny." Like I did this at Birmingham Rule. I took ogres just to really just give people casualties, and ended up going 1-1-1 on the day. And I was like, "Hey, ogres are great." Snotlings with Hackflem, they are even better. So it was a great game. Rick was awesome fun to play against. Then it was lunchtime, and
Mhm.
had a very nice pizza. Like we played at this hotel. They had the order. I've been on a really big. I've been dieting like really well recently, getting ready for the wedding. Lost nearly 2 stone in a couple of
Very well done.
months, which is cool. Thank you. Yeah. And on the day, I was like, nope. You know what? I'm gonna have food today. It's gonna be great. And had a really nice pizza. What did you have for lunch?
I think I had a burger. Yeah, it was a nice little hotel actually, wasn't it?
It was
It
good.
was a really cool venue. It was just like in a function room. There were some really nice, comfy seats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
I did order a tea, and I never did get it, but that was in the middle of game three, and everything was very stressful, so I don't know where that went, but that's okay. Talking of game three, Ben. So you went
Mm.
0-2, and then
Uh, yeah, 0-2, and then game 3 was against humans.
here he is,
And
Felna.
I I think I won that.
You did
I
win that
can't
one.
remember. Yeah, was it 2-1?
It was 2-1. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that being quite exciting because it was like, OG humans against the new humans on the block. Um, and yeah, it was a really interesting game. I would say the dice were in my favor, but I think at this point a lot of it was the nobility control. I remember taking a picture of, I think it was in the second half, and I had pretty much formed a wedge in the pitch where I'd pretty much locked his team out from getting to my team with bodyguards. So I was using like the stand firm and the fend. I had Zug positioned in the middle, who pretty much just clobbered whoever managed to break through. And I pretty much moved my team up as a wedge with the blitzers leading the charge and holding the ball. And so it's really strange. I kind of like got the blitzers around him, and then kind of broke through and then pushed his team to the side. I just cleared the whole center of the pitch, which felt really satisfying to do. So I was just like, right, if I put stand firm there,
Yeah.
get through. He just cannot get through. And if he does get through, he's got Zug in a tackle zone.
Mhm.
And then I've got one there. Well, even the only way he's getting through is if he's dodging. or he knocks me down. Zug. So it's kind of just like I just had a constant threat, and I think it caused quite a headache. But it was that was the game where I really felt, this is why I liked Nobility. They're just really, really, you can do some cool stuff.
Yeah, they are. It is kind of a unique feeling team. Like they are really powerful on defense. Like I love it so much. They were so much fun to run on the Fumble League, and it's just they're really powerful, and it kind of sometimes they just click, and you end up with this formation, and you're like, I'm good. Like I feel good about this. Like I feel like I'm playing orcs now with combat skills. It's decent, man. Do you remember what star your opponent was running?
Yeah. He took Griff, which was really interesting because my bodyguards were really good against Griff.
Stand firm, wrestle.
They went straight for him and wrestled him down. Like I just kept pulling him down, and there was a time when I think I just tagged. Yeah, I tagged him with someone. I think I just kept tagging him with like a lineman or something. Maybe it was it was a bodyguard. I just kept tagging him with a bodyguard, and if he blocked him, I wrestled him. If he dodged away sometimes, but and then I just went to another bodyguard. That's why I liked having 4 of them, because there's always someone to run after Griff and wrestle him.
Yeah.
Sometimes it did mean I didn't block blitz with Zug, which is what I was trying to do each turn, because getting a strength 5 blitz is always really good.
Good crack at removal there.
Yeah, but I often found it's just way more advantageous to make sure Griff wasn't doing anything stupid.
Yeah, and that's okay. And I think there's a level up element when it comes to your Blood Bowl, where you're like, all right, I made 5 activations, maybe 6 activations this turn, and I haven't blitzed, haven't needed to, and that's fine. Like I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Like I don't even need to make this block. Like let's just actually let you try it. Like because it's going to be too. Yeah, it's and Nobility really helps teach that. Because they're like, okay, I've got my counters. I've played my bodyguard in defense mode. Let's see if you activate my trap card. And it's a really fun way to play Blood Bowl. And I think it helps you. It really helps you positioning with your positioning.
Yeah,
I learned a lot from playing them for that reason. I didn't learn quite so much from playing Slan, except I believe I Can Fly is only going to work 50% of the time. But it's wicked. So ended up winning that 1-2-1, Ben.
Yeah, it was a good game all round.
Okay, so I went in on table 1 in the 3rd round against Prime Rack, which was a guy called Mark, I believe, and this was Dark Elves. So I was thinking, oh geez, all right, that's cool. Like I've had my fun today. This is all right. Like Orcs and Underworld, they got vulnerabilities. Dark Elves do not. This was such a good roster. This was a very cleverly thought out roster, and I didn't appreciate it till I started setting up. Dark Elves with Acorn, you're like, yeah, fair enough. Use an Acorn because it's the cheapest star player, so you can max out the actual Dark Elves. That element, absolutely got it. But Mark had thought one step further, and this I love. Knew there was going to be light teams. Knew there was going to be Underworld and Stunty. So we took 2 assassins. Okay.
2 assassins. Okay.
Knew there was going to be, because War Dancers, Hack Flem with dodge, just Stunty players with low armor. Stab is superb. So his roster was 4 blitzers, a witch elf, 2 assassins, and stuff with Acorn, and it was awesome. Like, because obviously I'm deploying and I'm putting Snotlings on the line, because you put your rookies on the line because they're there just to die and you can sidestep them around. But you know what? I made a big mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I should have tried deploying the trolls. I should have gone heavy on the line against him, because I didn't even think about it. And then all of a sudden, the snots were just dying, like literally being knifed to the face. I was like, ooh, I hadn't considered this. It was really well, but also a really clever read on the meta, and not something I had considered. But I think Dark Elves are sweet, and if you're going to be in an event where there is a lot of dodge and a lot of low armor and a lot of stunty, this is a genius play. Genius. So I can't remember if I kicked or received, but I ended up scoring at the end of the first half. Just standard snotling things. I don't think it was hack phlegm in the first half. I think it was just regular snotlings just marching down there and doing some dodges. We both went on a bit of a removal frenzy the first 4 turns. It was just each turn, 1 or 2 of the other players was gone, which benefited me a little bit. So when it came down to it, I think there was about 4 or 5 dark elves on the pitch, and it was very easy for me to just like wander into the end zone. But it was just the bomb would take out a couple of people. His assassins would then take out a couple of people. We had obviously had a tackle blitzer at this point because I sat down and said I was playing snotlings, and he just already got his little blue token out, which is the right thing to do. What did I take? So by this point, I had 2 guard trolls. There was no skill stacking, so I had the pile driver pump wagon and had 2 accurate bombardiers, which was a lot of fun. So the kind of second half revolved around his assassins trying to kill my bombardiers, which was great. It was really good fun because they'd bomb him and then they'd get up and they'd stand next to him and go for it. It was really quite entertaining. But I went 1-0, and our game ran on a little bit longer than everyone else's in round 3, and it was the end of the second half when we had like half a dozen people standing around watching the end of our game, and it was a turn 16 draw for the Dark Elves. I very nearly held out for a 1-0. I got really lucky with a ton of casualty rolls, and Dark Elves are great, but when there's 6 of them against 13 snotlings, it's really tough. But Tichy doesn't give them minus, so they're still dodging around on 2s. It's pretty good. It was a great game, and I got some luck in there, and he got some bad luck in there, and I think if I played a bit tighter I could have capitalized on it. But I going in and I was like, oh, you know what, I got a draw against Dark Elves. I'm happy with that. And I was happy with that. It was great, and it was cool for everyone to pile around. It was a really wicked moment. Like, Wayne had finished his game, and the guys were just standing around, like, watching the last 3 turns of the game, and I was putting off some snotling shenanigans to try and stack it to make him right. And he did get, like, the blitz, dodge, go for it, into the end zone for a turn 16 equaliser. It was a really cool moment, and Mark played brilliantly, and it was just a weird game. Like, it was just carnage, that first half. Like, there was like 9-10 players out. I was like, ooh, this is it was just, he took out a troll as well. Well, I think I might have taken out a troll. I think I might have just both downed both. Actually, I lost a troll in every game apart from the first one. Like, got a.
That's unusual. Do you remember regen? Yeah.
I did. It didn't work.
Wow.
I got a troll knocked out in the second game, and this one I got casualty troll, and the regen just did not work. It was carnage, but it was a really good game. It was proper stressful, and that's where I forgot my cup of tea in the third round because we had to take a break at half time. I was like, that's cool, I'm gonna go get a drink. We sat back down, and it was real thinky, and it was so satisfying. Like to plan
I did see you across. You were sat across for that one. I did notice you looking really intensely on that one.
Oh, it was just really good fun. It was really good fun. And I was like, yeah, this is representing the snotlings well here. And they did me very proud. But it's just bombs and numbers. Like, it's proper World War II Soviet technique. And it works great. It was brilliant fun. It was brilliant fun. So I was feeling pretty happy going into the last round. By this time, Milton had smashed face with his Norse and had just 3-0'd somebody. Which was pretty cool. In fact, Milton was doing very well at this point, wasn't he? I think he lost his first round. Where are you, Milton? Oh no, he won 4-1 in his first round.
Yeah.
Then
with his North.
Yeah. Then his second round he lost 2-0 against Mark, who I played in round 3. His round 3 he beat Halflings 2-0, which I think is reasonable to expect that. And then and then it was round 4. So BT, who did you get in round 4? Oh,
I had a Fumble Legend Length.
Yeah.
So Length he's fairly well known on the online scene, isn't he? He's played 5,500 matches on Fumble.
Jeez.
Pretty veteran coach, and he was bringing out vampires on tabletop,
which was really interesting.
It was really good to see because vampires did get did get a short stick in this edition. But he actually did it very well, and I think I got the short end of the stick by playing them in round 4 when he was able to put pro on all of them, because that really helped. And he just played it so well against nobility. Like, he wasn't too familiar with nobility, with them being new and him being experienced. You know, you get into the mindset, you know what to do to win. But he still just absolutely smashed it. He kept hypno-gazing like my bodyguards, which let him
to get away with the wrestle and stand firm being off.
Yeah, so he had Cheney as well. So I really messed up by putting one of my new guard bodyguards 2 squares from the sideline, thinking he'll be all right. He has stand firm. And then he got hypno-gazed and blitzed from the side by Cheney, and he just went straight out immediately. So that was already just like, yeah, I forgot that's a thing that can happen. And yeah, he just made some really good plays. It was a long game. I know we were definitely the last to finish. By the end of the second half, we had to speed bowl it with 2-minute timers. And that was actually really exciting. So it was a proper thinky game all the way through, because it was. I definitely had the upper hand in terms of team quality, I think, because nobility, I think, are just better than vampires.
There's a low bar there, Ben. Don't trip over it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, man, Lemp as a coach is just an absolute thinker.
It's interesting that you went speed bowl at the end, because from the looks of it, he won the speed bowl in May.
Yeah, he told me that before we started playing. He said he's had a bit of speed bowl, so I was a little bit loath to suggest it.
With Skaven.
Yeah. I mean, he also struggled a bit with, right, I'm going to roll from a vampire. Oh, no, pro. Oh, no, that passed. Okay, roll again. All of that, like, he had to keep rolling. Yeah, so many dice. But it was, I think that was a draw of that game, wasn't it?
It was a 1-1 draw. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a real struggle, but a really, really fun game. And that was a good one to end on the day, I think, because I don't know if I could have handled one after that, because that sapped me any remaining brain power from that day.
Oh, man. So I went into round 4 2-1. Wayne was 3-0, and then I believe Mark, who I just played, was 2-1, and I think there was potentially somebody else who was 2-1. I believe because of my touchdown difference, I was in second place at this point, so naturally I finally got paired against Wayne. Now, I'd never played Wayne. I've met him loads of times. Lovely guy. But we got to sit down and play the game. And first of all, his team was gorgeous. It was Grebo cats, who were named after his cats that he'd had through his life. 2 of them are called Tiff or Tiffany. Huh?
And painted after. He painted them the same cats as well, which I thought
was
really nice.
Awesome team. Like, it was just so lovely. But yeah, not an awesome matchup. One, because it's Wayne, and 2, because it was Chaos Dwarves. Now, Chaos Dwarves with Hackflem and Morg. So he had, I think it was 6 Chaos Dwarves with Tackle, and then gave Tackle to a Hobgoblin. I was like, this is ropey. By this point, I've got my 2 Guard Trolls, I've got my Pile Driver Pump Wagon, I've got 2 Accurate Dudes, I've got 2 Sprint, 3 Sprint or Sure Feet guys that were just there to just try and maximize the speed. And I was not expecting much from this game at all, because I was like, I
remember when the the pairings were announced, and it was like, right, you're with Chaos Dwarves, and it was kind of just like, dream shattered.
Oh, yeah. So sat down. I mean, it was great. And I can't remember if he kicked or received, but I think he might have received, actually. And I nearly got a defensive touchdown. Basically, I just pinned his team back by throwing Snotlings there. I led Morg astray with one dude. I bombed a bunch of other guys just because that's my strategy here. Troll got taken out really early on, I think, by Morg. And then in the backfield, he had a couple of Hobgoblins and Hackflem, and Hackflem had the ball. Now, I had a couple of Hoppers who were free, who'd just been mobbing the cage just to try and create opportunity. End of my turn, I'm like, right, you know what? What we can do here is we can push Hackflem 1 square further into my Snotling trap. I was like, I'm going to go for 3 dice. Let's just see what happens. Triple pow.
Wow.
No. So it's turn like 5 or 6 of the first half. I'm like, right, let's see if we can just push him back a bit. I'll take it both down. He doesn't have block. Like this is all right. I've got this is going to be fine. Like worst case scenario, Hopper goes down. He's still in 2 tackle zones. Powd Hack Flem down to the ground. Ball pops out. I'm like, this is within scoring range. So I'm like, right, Hopper dodge to here, and I failed the dodge with the dodge reroll. 1-2, Hoppers don't have Titchy. So 1-2, and the Hopper failed, bounced on the ball, and then my team fell apart. Basically, I committed everything I could to just trying to create that turnover. So I was like, if I can get a turnover here and I'm receiving second half, like this could be brilliant. And this is it with Snotlings. You just put yourself in a position to have these odd little things, and if they work out, they work out, and it's awesome. This one nearly worked out. I feel like I went all in, pushed it, nearly got there, didn't quite get the dice, and then Wayne just happened. Like it was at that point, all of my luck had gone into that, and because of the way I'd spaced my team out to tag all of his players to create that opportunity, it then left him with a load of one-on-one matchups with Chaos Dwarves and Snotlings. And you can get away with it when stuff doesn't have block and tackle, but when they do have block and tackle, they do not survive. And then it was just team gone, team gone, team gone. It started falling apart. So went into the second half, touchdown down, which was fine. Did progress up, had another go, had Hackflim in the bottom corner, nearly ready to score, and I just failed a couple of rolls, and he just started smashing face again. I spent the whole second half just throwing Snotlings and throwing opportunities. It was much closer than I feel it had any right to be, and I did not expect to win that one at all, but I do feel proud that I think for a second I might have scared Wayne. With that.
That's what.
Oh my defensive touchdown with Snotling. I was like, oh, this is like no one expects the Snotlings, which was amazing. But no, that was, I think, every bit of my luck went into that one moment. I couldn't quite see it through, but I played really aggressively with the Snotlings all day, as I just didn't care. Like I'm like, Snotlings aren't meant to win. Like I'm going to play aggressive, play to my outs, create opportunities. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It worked for a couple of times. It worked really well, and this one was really close as well. But because of the positioning and the team, it cost me so much to make an attempt that I couldn't recover from it. And I had enough players. I got lucky with my KOs coming back on, so I had enough players to stack up in the second half. But it was a done deal at that point. I tried the entire time to make the opportunity for an equaliser. Didn't pan out. Ended up losing 2-0, first loss of the day, and it was an awesome moment. And it was just an absolutely brilliant day. Like it's the first time in a long time I've just played Blood Bowl, which was really nice. It was really nice. I could just focus on the puzzle. I wasn't filming, we weren't running an event. It was just having a chat, having a laugh, and playing some games, and it was just a superb experience. And when it came to the rankings, I was joint 5th overall in the end. So Wayne came first with 12 points, then Mark, the Dark Elf, came second. Rob and Milton both finished at 3 and 1. So that's Rob who won Stunty with his Snotlings. I was like, I think he was running Morg. Then joint 5th was Matt, Ben C, and Bonehead Ben, who with all 7 points. I had +3 touchdown net on the day, and this I genuinely deserves a mention. Guess what my casualties against was, Ben?
Against.
I'll tell you what. Guess what my net casualties was for the day.
I'm going to guess positive.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Mentioning.
Okay, I'll give you an over/under. More or less than 2 Blood Bowl teams worth?
Oh my god. More.
Yeah, -25 on the day.
You still didn't get chocolate armor, did you?
I don't think they do that arm. I don't think they do that award. I don't think it would have been fair. The closest was -16 behind that. But yeah, no, I just sold my Snotlings lot. I play every team like Skaven. I know you guys have said this, and I did with the Snotlings. I played them like Skaven, and they died like Skaven for the greater good. Yes, yes. And it was wicked. But I finished with a +3 touchdown differential, which was I was all right with, and a -25 casualty. It was a great day. It was a great day. Milton blimmin' won touchdowns with 9.
Yeah,
With
yeah. I know.
Norse.
He
Nah,
plays on his home ground, and he suddenly turns it
I
out.
know, it's great. You can stay there. Yeah. No, plus Griff, I imagine, helped a bit. No, he had a good day as well. And it was wicked to see all those star players. I mean, Ben, overall, what was how did you do? You did
Do that well. No, it's only won one, lost 2, drew 1.
Yeah. -3 TDs, -8 casualty. I'm assuming that was game 2 where you just got destroyed.
Yeah.
Wicked day. There was some great teams in there. I mean, Wayne obviously did a great job, and a couple of others. I really did want to pull out. Gary, gotta mention Gary. Came down from Leicester to play. He's just an absolute legend of a bloke. Anyway, was running Slan, and I cannot applaud him. First of all, team looked great. And he'd been building his Zinch team as well, which was so cool to see because he bought them at Bonehead Bowl. And he was like, yeah, I've built it. It looks so good. He's like, I hope Games Workshop drop rules for that. Oh, we need to start sneaking the Secret League rules in. Built that team. Had a tough day with Slan, though. Ended up same as you with 4 points. But -4 casualties against -8. He did better than me with Slan. So that's good job, Gary. I mean, taking he ran Khorne to the last one and Slan now. Like, Gary is going deep on Blood Bowl, and that is I'm just so happy because that's exactly the right way to do it, man. It's wicked to see. And I don't know, it's just an awesome day. Did you enjoy yourself?
I did, yeah. It's always Blood Bowl tournaments are always fun. They're always a good laugh.
And was there any watch outs there, any learnings when it comes to stars and the meta?
Well, yeah, I mean, Morg way better than I thought. I think Hack Flem really just needs to be toned down. I think we're going to see him in so many tournaments and so many teams, because he just fills in a niche that so many teams need.
Hack Flem is an amazing blitzer for Snotlings, by the way.
I bet.
I totally get why people take Glart now. Before I was like, he's just a subpar big guy. He's not. He's your blitzer. I was blitzing with Hack Flem all the time because I always had an assist. Terrible idea to blitz with a no combat star player with Loner 4+. But I was like, I can blitz you with 3 die up, or I can blitz you with 2 dice and just risk it. And you know what? Did a great job as a blitzer.
Yeah.
And obviously the cheeky 1+ shenanigans is just makes the gutter runner in me very happy.
But all in all as well, I did really enjoy playing Ability. I thought really cool team. I think we're going to see them do pretty well in tournaments. You've been compiling some data already, and it seems like I think they come with just a really good tournament skill package from the get-go. And then when you can start supplementing it with guard and blodge and things like that, they become really good. I think I've been contemplating other skills in them as well. You know, like things like tackle on the bodyguards. Can they take diving tackle? Is that general?
That's agility.
It's agility. I don't think I'd take that. But just like it just because after you can just when you can dictate things, it just becomes so much better.
I love them. Yeah. I think they're awesome. They don't take much, and that's the thing. They don't take much. And so I'm compiling loads of data from the NAF tournaments and stuff like that. I am nowhere near finished. I think I've got up to maybe June, but Imperial Nobility, 110 games, 44.5% win rate, which is 4th actually. They're ahead of Dark Elves. There's some interesting stuff coming out. Amazon's unsurprisingly sitting at 51%, and then Underworld second with Dwarves, and then Nobility and Dark Elves. So that's your top 5 at the moment. Still got a load of tournaments to put in there. But I mean, how many matches am I on at the moment? Equals some. Let's just do this. But yeah, Nobility are awesome, and I like the way you took Zug, Ben. because it allowed you to still play nobility.
Exactly.
If you
It's
see,
just
if you played
yeah,
Griff, you'd be playing Griff backed up by nobility. But because you played Zarg, like you said, you took an upgraded ogre, and that means you got 4 good games of nobility in a tournament setting. One of them doesn't count because being pitched is weird, shouldn't happen.
yeah. It shouldn't.
Right,
Yeah, I think
3,054 games so far on the sheet.
okay,
100,
great. That's
110 for nobility, and they won 49 of them.
that's pretty solid. That's pretty good.
Where are my snotlings? Where are my snotlings? Where are the snotlings? Not so good. 37%. Better than humans, though. Haha, suck it. 36%.
I think humans surprisingly low.
I think it's just the volume of matches. And it.
Standard deviation.
Yeah, I mean, Lizardman, 36% at the moment. Wood Elves, 35%. I think there's some anachronisms in the data that need to be worked out. OWA doing a great job with a 42% win rate because they've only played 54 games. Slan, 12 games so far. Vampires.
Well done, Gary.
Yeah. I don't think this even includes Gary's data, so that's going to get better. There's at least 16 games of Slan, which is wicked. No, it's cool. The stars are potent, really potent. It changes things. There were definitely 2 types of player at this event, and one was I'm going to run a star team with guys to support the star, and I'm going to run a team that I also have a star on. I'd say that you and Mark with the Dark Elf team who took Acorn leaned heavily into I'm going to play my team. I've got a star as well. And I think, Wayne and some of the big star builds were like, I'm going to play. Actually, that's not fair. Wayne just took great stars with a great team and clever list building. Really good job. And it's not, I don't know, I went heavy with the team, but obviously Hackflem is just great. Morg would have been fun, I think, but it would have cost me some stuff. And I don't know, Hackflem's cheap. I got to take everything I wanted. And yeah, I don't know. I like it. Anyway, talking of star players, we've had 2 Khorne Star Players drop. So Ben, why don't we take a quick break and we'll go through our cornucopia of Khorne rumours. And we're back. So, like we said at the beginning of the episode, there has been 2 star players. There have been 2 star players revealed, Max Spleenripper and Scylla and Fingrim. Both of those are absolutely laden with Khorne symbols. Now, we'll be realistic about this. They could just have Khorne symbols on them because it's Blood Bowl and it's bloody, and that's absolutely fine. So we are going to start at the lowest tier of what the heck does this mean syndrome, and we'll banter about that. Then we're going to go we're going to go Bonehead deep as well. So Ben, we've got a couple of star player models that we've seen. What is the most low-key, reasonable thing you think that means?
Okay, reasonable. Probably some kind of chaos spike.
I agree. I think that's pretty reasonable. Now we'll start easy and say that actually they aren't Khorne. This is not about Khorne. This is just about chaos. Scylla used to exist. Max used to exist. It's just coincidence. We might see Ludgrip next week and next month, and it will all be something different, and it's fine. And that could mean that it could be a unaligned chaos team. For example, Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah, see, that could make sense, and that does make sense. I don't know as much. I've got a couple of questions which may change my mind. You should you probably be able to answer them.
All right, let's go.
Did Max Spleenripper always be Khorne aligned? Obviously Khorne.
Did he always be Khorne?
Yeah, did he always be Khorne? That's a question.
Did he always be Khorne? I don't think so. Let's have a look. I've got the CRP here because old school. Right. Max Spleenripper, Chaos or Nurgle? But that is because Khorne wasn't in the book. I assume he was also Khorne related as well. Is Scylla in this? Scylla's not.
Ludgrip is be like Slanesh, isn't he?
Uh,
And with
yeah,
a name like Ripper, but like so much of generic chaos is all just violence, isn't it?
yeah. So who
So
does Khorne hate? Is it
Khorne
Slanesh?
hates.
So it's
Yeah.
Khorne hates Slanesh. Okay, so the fact that Max can play for Nurgle doesn't mean anything then.
No, not really.
Okay,
Khorne and Nurgle tend to get on,
all right.
and fairly well. Yeah.
Okay, so back in the day, was he a Khorne related model? I don't think he was. He was just a weird guy with a what would now be considered dubious hat, because he was a little bit, he looked like a redemptionist. Ben, I think is probably the best way to say
Yeah.
this. He looked like a redemptionist. Yeah, that's as far as we'll go with that one. Yeah, that's as far as we'll go. So yeah, he the new model is very cartoony as well. Like he looks like Margin Boo with a hat, which I do kind of like. It's a weird model, but I think it's reasonable to say that actually he could play for other teams. Like he could play for the Chaos teams. Now, Chaos Dwarf, I think, is the most obvious one here. They land Chaos Dwarves with a few Chaos Star players who could. But actually, you know what? I don't know if he played for Chaos Dwarves in the old days. But
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. Is also like they just don't seem that Chaos Dwarfy. Like Chaos Dwarfs, right? This is going to be my other question. They're not really like God aligned, are they? They
no.
don't. They tend to sort of be their own thing. They have
So
their
yeah,
own.
they're old star players: Zarg, Mad Eye, Nobbler Blackwar, Rashnak Backstabber, who was a stabby hobgoblin, Grashnak. Who, oh man, if they, oh, come on, Grashnak, come on, let's have Grashnak. Thark the Unstoppable and Morgan Thorg were their choices, so they didn't get Scylla or Max
No.
Beam. However, with the whole favoured of tag, like it would make sense in the new world for them to get access to them. So Chaos Dwarfs definitely one option. We're missing that team. At some point, that team should come out from Games Workshop. What about Norse, though, Ben? What if they land Norse and allow them to have favoured of?
See, I could see where we've mentioned before about. I'm still firm on the idea of Slan becoming Slanesh. I could see Norse becoming Khorne. Um,
Oh,
I could see
that would
Norse becoming a
upset.
Khorne.
That would. Oh, that would be ripples. That's one thing that they retcon Bretonians to have pipes and beards. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because actually they didn't produce Bretonians, but they have got Norse in the teams of legend. I can see them
They do.
changing up some positionals. I don't know if they would Well, I guess if they kept the positionals and just changed up the rules, it wouldn't be bad. You could still use your Norse team of old. They just do.
Yeah,
They just do different stuff.
They're kind of Khorne-ish. They. It's just I just think they'd lean away from Norse just because they kind of the lore is advanced sort of past that. And references and connotations to real world things is always a little bit dodgy.
I think Vikings are always going to be a safe bet. I mean,
Yeah, true.
I mean, obviously they were pillaging, raping monsters sometimes, but the rest of the time they were just sea traders, honestly. So it was probably fine. Just so I don't know. I don't know. I'm with you though. I can see G Dubs doing something different like that. I can see them retconning Norse, retconning the Khorne team, as it were.
If they did Britonia, which is such a solid core piece of Warhammer, Norse, I don't think they're safe.
But they didn't get rid of Britonia. I guess they did because they were in Blood Bowl 2. That's a really interesting one. Like, because they didn't actually do any of the tabletop players dirty because they never sold a Bretonian team. But with the Norse team,
Sell a Norse team. That I mean,
yeah, I know. I don't know. Have they done Norse on Made to Order? I don't think they have they?
I don't think so.
Made to Order Norse Blood Bowl. Yeah, that's interesting. So we haven't seen that one. Ooh, no. I don't think so.
And they haven't done because that was a Blood Bowl 1 thing. So I think they might just sort of take both and smash them together. Same with Slan and Slanesh, really.
Ooh, wow, that would be really interesting. I mean, that would upset the heck out of. Well, would that upset Milton? I don't know. He's just built a Norse team because he was like, oh, which one do I go for? Which one are Games Workshop more likely to do? Um, well, turns out they're all getting knackered. Now, I mean, I don't think it is completely unreasonable for them to redevelop the Norse team as long as the positionals kind of matched. I can see them adding
Yeah.
positionals because they've done that to lizards, they've done that to hobbits, they've done it to a load of different teams. And I feel like that's fine. They haven't dropped any positionals. Like I do think that Norse could lose a couple of positionals. I've said this many times.
Another one or two to Norse.
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? Why not? What don't they have? Um, but if it came to Norse, I don't know, man. Like Norse are a great team, but ooh, now we're assuming then that they do go the chaos way and allow them to have favored of, and at that point, you're just facing dwarves light with Hackflem in a tournament environment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like that's on the end of reasonability. So let's knock this up just a little bit of a notch. More unreasonable suggestions that were floating around there was a redefined Renegades team in a box, but loads of people pointed out that that might not be the well. That's unlikely because they're actually in the rulebook as is.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably fair, but I was like, actually, what if they do a
Didn't they? Like only 3 spikes ago was a Renegades one.
oh yeah, but that was a different edition now, Ben.
Yeah, true. True.
That's done. In that 3 spikes ago, there was also Underworld, and Underworld got
Yeah.
got changed up a bit. They got the Rat Ogre and stuff. Again, adding positionals is fine. Actually, Chaos Renegades turning them into an OWA like team with a Goblin sprue and a Chaos sprue and potentially a human or an Orc sprue or something like that. Probably not Orc, but that's kind of something that is was mentioned that could have been potentially something going on. I don't think that's very likely though, which makes me very happy because I love Renegades as they are. It would be cool to add a dark version of OWA, like that'd be pretty interesting. Like, and we'll see that I think as we go on. Like, there's an elf one planned, and then yeah, what if they just put together a Chaos Khorne team? Not Khorne, not Demons of Khorne from BB1, not Norse, but like Nurgle. Nurgle have a Nurgle version of the Chaos Chosen roster. Instead of Beastmen, they've got the Nurgly dudes. They've got a Beastman style player, they've got the Warrior style player, they've got a Big Guy style player. What if Games Workshop produce a Khorne team with the same fit? Okay, they've got Frenzy linemen, kind of looking like Norse. They've got Khorne Gores. They've got Khorne Warriors who maybe start with Frenzy, and then they've got a big guy that probably wouldn't be the Bloodthirster, would probably end up just being a Minotaur, and that's probably fine. I don't know. What do you reckon?
Sold on that.
Well, yeah.
That sounds really good. That's like, I mean, I love my Khorne team, but it is a bit weird. I would love something like that with a bit of structure, make it look visually quite interesting. Like, I think one of the things I love about the Nurgle team is just how cool it looks. It's got such a good range of players. And it's quite satisfyingly fun to play and build rosters around. So, yeah, I would really like that.
I mean, I don't think it's in the realm of impossibility. I think this is. I mean, we've seen the Nobility team, the Black Orc team. We've seen them create stuff, and Snotlings came in. We've seen them do things and create things, and there is definitely a gap in the market for a frenzy-based team from Games Workshop. We thought it might be Savage Orcs. I really hope we see a Savage Orc team at some point, because that would just be wicked. If they took the Demons of Khorne roster, basically made that Savage Orcs, and then took a Chaos Chosen but Khornate version and had that as your Khorne team, then they could do a Slanesh team and a Tzeentch team, because one, it's great for AOS parts, two, it's big on brand identity, and gameplay wise you could do some very different things. And then the Frenzy Barbarian thing could be Norse. You could be really bang on with that one, or Savage Orcs, because they've already kind of done that roster. And I don't know, man, we're seeing Khorne Star Players. And I want to get really excited because I'm like, dude, they drop a Khorne team. I hope it's going to be Chaos Warriors and some Marauder looking guys. Like, this is just going to be
beefy armor,
power
you know.
metal men. Like,
Yeah.
like I want them to look like they're on the front cover of a Man of War album.
Yeah.
You know, like just He-Man After Dark. Like, it could be awesome. And that would be just absolutely amazing. Like, that for me is the top end of what I would love to see. The bottom end is realistically these guys having these star players and it just being a chaos spike with no new releases except star players.
We've made that sound really disappointing now. We got our
Yeah.
hopes up.
Well, okay. I liked right, Spike 11, best spike ever made. The necromantic one. We had some new stars. We had a new wizard. We had pitch rules. We had league rules. It was everything. It was juicy. Best spike they've done so far. 12 was just because they had to, which was the nobility and Black Orc one. There was no new stuff in there at all, really. There might have been ball rules or something, but there was nothing new in there. If they drop, I mean, how would you feel if they drop Spike 13 and it was 4 new Chaos Star players and some fluffy rules?
I think I'd want more than that.
I would definitely want more than that.
Yeah, it's like I like if it is like a new Khorne team and they give all this background on like Khorne and Blood Bowl, I think that would be really cool. I'm a huge Khorne fan. I mean, I'm referred to as Blood Tithe. I gotta be.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I love seeing that. It's simple, but it's simple pleasures, isn't it? Just to have the generic angry dudes.
Yeah, I think it would work great. So for me, best case scenario here is they drop a new Khorne team, and it is not the Demons of Khorne roster. Right, okay, I guess I got to be really open and honest about this. If I want a new team, and if Games Workshop are going to produce a new team, I'd kind of like it to be the 30th team, not just the 29th team rebranded. It was cool to see Brett's kind of changed up and brought in. Like, that was good. We lost a team, but we gained a team. Like, we actually gained a proper team and a different team. We're at a point now where we've got this cool bunch of teams. There's a ton still to explore, and we've got Slan and we've got Khorne on the outskirts. If they brought in a new team and then allowed the player base to still have Demons of Khorne, I would be really happy with that, because there are going to be a bunch of players out there like yourself who've bought a Khorne team or who've scratch built a Khorne team like Sam has, and have done it because they love the play style. It would be fair enough if Games Workshop brought a Khorne team in that de facto replaced it and it was based around BB1 Khorne, but it was just different. But if they bring out a Khorne team that is Khorne but is not a replacement for demons, that would be the best thing for me, because then we'd have 28 official Games Workshop teams and we'd have 30 teams in total, because the Khorne team would still be eligible. If they bring out a new Khorne team that replaces the NAF one, we don't really gain anything. We gain a cool box set, but I kind of want them, if they're going to make a new team, I want them to make a new rule set, I guess.
Yeah,
but for now,
yeah, I mean, it's more interesting for the game.
Yeah, it was definitely more interesting for us. Like, if they produce this team and all it tends to be is human lineman at 50k, 1 less armor, but they got frenzy, a beast man kind of substitute, and the Chaos Warriors have frenzy. Like, that's enough of a playstyle difference from Chaos. That's powerful, but it's more vulnerable. And if their agility is nerfed, like, there is a different way to play, and it would definitely be a different option for Chaos, and it would be a different enough team, but it wouldn't be wild and wacky that it would be so unchallenging for you to play against.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I really hope so. I really hope so. I know I shouldn't, Ben. I know I shouldn't get my hopes up, because what's gonna happen? But I guess the
Yeah. You never know. You never know until it actually arrives.
If
So
it actually arrives. It's blooming August, and
yeah.
the last team came out in October last year. If well, if you think about it, yeah. I mean,
Oh my.
well,
Yeah. Yeah. You're
November,
right.
November, I guess, wasn't it, when the teams landed and everything. Um,
Yeah. Of
Otherwise,
course.
the only new Blood Bowl releases we've had this year, yeah, we haven't had any.
Just the magazines.
Well, Spike 11 came
Mm.
out last year with the new star players. The models are trickling out. We still don't have Rumbelow. We're still waiting on Bryce Campbell, and that's fine. They're not that important. Rumbelow is actually quite important. Rumbelow and Carl are a pretty good tag team. So we need that Rumbelow miniature, even though the Grebo one is actually pretty great. So yeah, we've not had anything new for Blood Bowl this year. We've had Death Zone, which was wicked, except for the half-built sevens rules. And there's people in our on the comments to today's Theory Thursday still arguing about where you can kick the ball, which really annoys me because it was fine before, and then they've just gone, we'll leave this bit out and make them wait till the November FAQ, and we probably won't even include it then. But what we will do is nerf a skill randomly. What skill is everyone enjoying at the moment? Hail Mary pass? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need that.
No, murder that. Well, you know what? Accurate was being better. So there, Games Workshop. Um, actually was. I wish running past would work with it as well. I don't think it does, but that would just be sweet. Run along, throw a bomb. Like they should FAQ that. As if you're going to
Yeah.
take Hail Mary away, let us use running pass on the bomb.
But does it work?
No, I think
still
I think it's a
Okay.
throw a pass action, whereas the bomb action isn't actually a pass action. So it's like,
Right.
well, actually, no. Which makes me very sad because that would be a fun level up. Now you've killed Hail Mary. Anyway, I've played Snotlings most recently and bombs were good. Who knew? Mighty Blow bombs, boom. So low bar for me would be a Spike magazine that just had fluff, but we've had the Chaos Fluff Spike, we've had the Nurgle Fluff Spike, we've had the Renegade Fluff Spike. So it can't be that, Ben. It has to be Norse, Chaos Dwarf, or a new team.
Yeah.
What's your money on?
I think honestly, now we've talked about it, I think. I think they'll do some. I think it'll be an. I think it actually will be something new, either new or rebranded. Like I just think. I don't think it's going to be Chaos Dwarf. I genuinely really don't. Just the fact that they're like Khorne and they weren't for Chaos Dwarf previously. I think it'll be a really weird mix. I think if they're going to do a Chaos Dwarf Spike, they would have done a Chaos Dwarf Star Player.
Yeah,
like
a Hobgoblin or a Centaur or something that would have really got people jazzed up. This is leaning so heavily into Khorne that there's nowhere else for them to go unless it is a Star Player Spike, which is something else that we haven't talked about. You know, Ripper and Kraken Eye, and Looney Boy, like they're all art we've seen. Verminator, we've seen him in Blood Bowl 3. The only other kind of thing I was thinking is if they drop a Star Player supplement where there's 12 Star Players in it, and these are the models that are coming out, and we're going to take 4 years to produce them for Forge World. Like, that's the only other thing I could see, but I don't think that's enough of a splash release for them.
It's a little bit like I think I'd enjoy reading it still because the star segments are one of the best bits in the Spike. So I have a good solid read of that, but yeah, in terms of release, it is a little bit just like yeah.
Well, it's because the Star Players come from Forge World, so there'd be nothing to sell in stores.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like look at this magazine. There's basically a brochure of models you can't really get.
Yeah, and that's it for me. So we've got Ben here saying that this is going to be a new team, something new. I think it's got to be some kind of Khorne team. Like, I personally believe it is going to be either Norse or Chaos Dwarf. It's just going to be the next team, and they're going to sandwich these Star Players in there because, well, you know what? I'd still be excited about that. I'd be excited to see Norse and Chaos Dwarf brought into Blood Bowl 2020, brought into Season 2, because I think they'd get a little tiny change here or there, and hopefully, potentially both of them for the worst a little bit. Like, the Teams of Legend are just exactly the same team, just ported straight over. I would like to see something change, even if it's just a price increase or something to just change the team up. for both of them, for Norse and for Chaos Dwarf, and not because they're overpowered, but just because every other team has kind of gone through some stuff they have to do differently. And I think it's a really important part of Blood Bowl 2020 that you do that transition with the teams. Some of them got better. Humans got better. Their passing game, they've got a little dude, but now they can throw around. They got different. Skaven, they lost the gutter runner passing game, but their thrower got better. They have to change up how they do things. Norse, maybe losing some positionals. Chaos Dwarf, potentially, and I think this would really hurt them, but, potentially losing tackle on their Chaos Dwarves. Or maybe just a price increase. I'm not sure. But I'd be really happy with any of that situation. What would be a bit boring to me is if we got a Chaos Dwarf or Norse team that was exactly the same as the Team of Legend one. They didn't take any opportunity to shake it up a little bit. But hey, in that, we still get a cool new team and some cool new star players.
Yeah.
Which is
it's not bad.
No, which is what we want. And I don't know, man, but I'm all in now for a Khorne team. We've seen 2 Khorne Star Players. We've got to see Khorne. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Get it regardless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're all going to buy it, no matter what happens. Yeah. That's wicked. Cool, Ben. I think we've probably maxed out our random Blood Bowl chatter for today. Is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up the show?
I think that's about it. Yeah. See what happens the next 2 weeks.
It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I'll probably have to wait a little bit longer than that. That would just be too good, wouldn't it? Right, guys, we're going to wrap up now. Thank you ever so much for listening, for joining us. Do let us know what you expect this next release to be, whether it's Khorne, whether it's Chaos Dwarf, whether it's a spike with star players in that you can't buy from your friendly local gaming shop. All of these are very reasonable things, and I don't know, maybe they'll just start putting all the teams on Warhammer Plus. Who knows? Who knows? Right, and as Ben Frenzy quits, we'll wrap up the day. BT, thanks very much for hanging out, man. Nice to catch up with you.
Always a pleasure.
Have to get a game of Conquest in soon.
Yeah, definitely.
And potentially some Blood Bowl. Cool. Right. I'm going to disappear. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys, and we'll catch you again soon.